My beloved child, they thought you were finished, but I, the Lord your God, have just begun. While others buried your name beneath silence and setback, I was orchestrating a divine reversal, one that no human eye could predict and no force can now delay. Hear me, this is not a mere comeback. This is the unveiling of destiny, and what you're about to witness will demand your attention, your surrender, and your full heart, because I'm not just restoring what you lost, I'm revealing who you've always been. Stay with me until the end. I'm releasing a word that will shift your entire trajectory. The wait is over. The silence has spoken. Now, watch what I do next. They believed your silence equated to defeat. They mistook your stillness for a lack of purpose. Yet what they missed, what they had no capacity to measure, was what I, the Lord your God, was orchestrating beneath the surface. Because while they evaluated your worth by what appeared on the outside, I was developing something eternal within you that no human being could calculate, track, or sabotage. They deemed the situation over, but I say to you this day, I was only just beginning. I watched as people overlooked your potential simply because it did not match their preferred mold. I saw how they offered their support elsewhere, all the while sidestepping your voice, your ideas, your presence. I observed you begin to question whether you were at fault, wondering if there was something inherently wrong with you. I noticed how you started to internalize their silence, how you gradually began to doubt your discernment, your timing, and your identity. Yet let me be absolutely clear. You were never the problem. You were a threat, not through force or manipulation, but because my hand has been on you from the start. And that which my hand covers cannot be ignored indefinitely. It may face delay, it may be muted for a time, but it cannot be thwarted. Not when I am the one who has planted it, not when my spoken word shall never return empty. You passed through events that nearly tore you apart, not just in the physical or circumstantial sense, but in ways that unraveled you internally. The lingering questions, the ache, the unexplainable emptiness, the long nights when you pleaded for me to say anything at all, if only to assure you that I was still near. You did not abandon me during that time, even when your faith wavered, even when you wrestled with anger, even when confusion surrounded you. You remained. This is the reason I direct these words to you, because you did not lose sight of me in the dark. Rather, you encountered me there. What we built together in that secret, unseen space, what I molded in the depths of your being while everyone else presumed you were finished, is soon to be unveiled. Not in bursts of emotion, but in a steady, unstoppable reversal. This is not merely about recovery. It is about restoration intertwined with purpose. I am not returning what you lost. I am offering you the destiny I always intended, and now you are prepared to carry it. I never waste pain. I do not allow tears without using them to water something new. Every tear you shed in private has been accounted for. My silence was never indifference. It was the patience of a master craftsman at work. I was constructing something that could not be rushed. I was removing toxic elements you had no idea were slowly harming you. I was opening roads that did not look blocked to you. I was setting up people, environments, and specific moments that each needed to align precisely before I swung open the next door. The turnaround on the horizon is more than a change in circumstances. It is deeply personal. I am rewriting the script others presumed they had the right to define. I am upending every trajectory that previously screamed limitation. I am lifting the burden you've borne and placing it on my own shoulders. No longer will you walk bowed by the judgments of others. From now on, you will stand tall, not out of pride, but out of true understanding. You will recognize you are chosen, not due to external happenings, but because of the inward confirmation I have planted in you. This is the transformative power of reversal. It does not simply alter what you possess. It reshapes your perspective. It changes how you handle whatever I entrust to you. It removes shame and in its place sets unshakable security. They pronounced you finished once they stopped keeping track. but I never took my eyes off you. I never ceased guiding your growth. I never aborted my plan because of some misstep, delay, defeat, or oversight. The calling on your life is not expired. It has matured and grown more profound, and now it will finally begin to manifest, not by coercion, but by grace. You need not clamor for recognition or plead for open doors. What belongs to you cannot be stolen. What I resolve to release cannot be hindered, and I declare it is being released now. You will first notice the evidence of reversal in the deep places of your heart. You will sense peace in areas once seized by panic, strength where there used to be only weakness, and joy that isn't artificial or fleeting, but grounded in the sure knowledge that I am with you, never having left your side. Next, doors will begin to open before you. Connections will arrive free from manipulation. Invitations will come without any struggle. Spaces you enter will expand to accommodate your presence, not because you demanded it, but because I have ordained it. Individuals who once bypassed you will now request your perspective, your insight, your voice, not out of pity, but in genuine recognition. All the honor withheld from you before will be restored, and not to stroke your ego, but to reflect my glory. I need you to remember, let no bitterness shape your responses. Do not allow vindication to be your driving force. I did not bring you here to settle scores. I brought you here to fulfill my promise. Let me address those who doubted. Allow me to handle any who failed to see the truth. Your commission is not to prove yourself. It is to walk in the provision I hand you with genuine joy, with grace, with power, and with humility. This marks the true character of those proven in the crucible of hiddenness. They emerge without resentment, ablaze with purpose. You were never finished. You were in the midst of reconstruction. Now the structure is firm, your identity is solid, the silence has produced real substance, and all the waiting has birthed destiny. So advance, unburdened by fear, free from doubt, unhindered by apology. Move forward in peace, aware that I, the Lord your God, have gone on ahead of you, stand behind you, walk beside you, and cover you completely. They were certain you had reached your end, but I was only beginning. I speak now to every part of you that is poised to press onward, and also to the part that hesitates in secret, the part that wonders if you are strong enough to handle what lies ahead, the part that recollects how rejection, disregard, and underestimation felt, the inner voice that questions, what if their judgments were correct? I hear it, even when you do not voice it out loud, and I mean to silence it, not with empty noise or shallow affirmations, but with enduring truth. So here is what I want you to grasp. I have never changed my mind about you, even when you were overcome with doubt, even when your confidence wobbled, even when you stepped aside to let others move forward, even when you questioned your own worth, I held fast to my plan. My decision regarding you was never contingent on your perfection. It is based on my own purpose. I chose you, fully aware of the challenges, fully informed of your weaknesses, your hesitations. Yet I still commissioned you, still appointed you, still safeguarded what you carry, even in moments when you did not feel deserving of it. You have long strived to secure a spot that was already yours. You tried to achieve flawlessness when all I required was your authenticity. You weighed your value by external reactions, by how easily doors swung open or stayed closed. That is not how I measure. I measure differently. I do not seek what dazzles, I look for what surrenders. And you, my child, have surrendered more than most can understand. In lonely places, in painful corners, yielding the right to be vindicated, relinquishing the drive to be visible. You chose me even when it cost you relationships, visibility, and comfort. That choice means far more than you can imagine. Now allow me to speak not only to your willingness to obey, but also to the very essence of who you are. Your identity is neither the sum of your achievements nor your failures. It is not shaped by the openings you've had or the applause you did or did not receive. Your identity is anchored in who you are in me. and that has been unwavering from the start. You belong to me. That reality stands above any other. You are not forgotten. You are not cast aside. You are not irreparably late. You are not beyond restoration. You are not placed on the sidelines of my plan. You stand at its core. You have been chosen, not symbolically, but strategically. Not just in a theoretical sense, but in a living reality. You feared this might be little more than a comforting notion, but trust me, it is far more. I am lifting a mirror before your soul, saying, this is who you have always been. Not the sanitized version the world found acceptable, not the subdued version you presented to avoid rejection, but the genuine you. The one I see, even when all others have looked away. The one I communicate with in your dreams. The one I stir awake through worship. The one I have been coaxing out of hiding every time you felt delayed. I have not merely preserved the gifts you hold. I have protected your true self, and now I invite you to operate from it. I call you to resume believing in who you are in me, not just in what I can do through you. I urge you to accept that your voice carries significance, that your presence shifts the dynamics of any space you occupy, that your insight is truly weighty. You already mastered the art of enduring in silence. Now, I desire you to learn how to speak once more, with confidence, authority, and peace. No need to fight for a place at the table. The position is already yours. I appointed you, and no one can dispossess what I have placed. Approach me anew with boldness, not solely in moments of dire need, but in your daily life. Talk to me as if you genuinely believe I am paying attention, not as though you are attempting to convince me of anything. Ask for my perspective, not just instructions, because I am not just your divine commander. I am your father, and I provide identity. Everything I have asked of you was intended to reveal the genuine you, not some personality forged by pressure, not some facade built around rejection, but the original blueprint I spoke into being long before the world imprinted you with names I never assigned. So hear me once again. You are loyal, you are resilient, you are teachable, you are humble, you are discerning. You possess a heart that is gentle, yet a spirit that is strong. You hold talents that have not yet been fully unveiled. Heaven finds you trustworthy. You are cloaked in grace and mercy, and you are ascending, no longer because you are proving yourself, but because I have made you ready. I invite you to journey with me to deeper places. Draw near again. Rediscover the childlike simplicity of being loved before any achievement or recognition. Let me restore your confidence, not through accolades, but through intimacy with me. Let me remind you that you were never meant to carry this load on your own, that I have walked every inch of the way with you, from the highest peaks to the darkest valleys. I have led you, shaped you, and now I ask you to trust me again, not by providing a spotless performance, but by offering your surrendered heart. Bring me the real you, not the edited edition you think I want. Let me rebuild your faith on the foundation of my presence, not on the shaky ground of performance. Let me renew your hope, not through immediate results, but through genuine encounters with me. Let me breathe fresh life into who you are until your soul finally accepts the truths I have been whispering since the beginning. You are far from done. You are only just starting, and I am the one initiating it all. Since your identity has been reaffirmed and your spirit is rising to the certainty that I have never forsaken you, it is time to speak honestly about the pain. For I will not merely beckon you forward without also addressing the weight you have been hauling. I do not anoint you and then disregard your wounds. I do not promise new horizons without also acknowledging the cost of your journey. I witnessed every tear you held back from the world. I was present each time you walked into a setting where you had to wear a smile while your heart was shattered. I was with you on those sleepless nights when your mind would not be still. Each moment of persistent, unspoken pain, it matters to me. You shouldered injury, not just from circumstances, but from misunderstandings. from rejection, from being wrongly perceived or mischaracterized. You offered your heart openly, yet it wasn't received in the same spirit. You served with sincere intentions, but your motives were questioned. You loved wholeheartedly, only to have some slip away without explanation. You fought to remain open-hearted, even though everything seemed to urge you to barricade your heart. Yet, you continued forward. You did not close yourself off entirely, but you did seal certain inner doors. You halted the grand, audacious dreams you once chased. You ceased uttering bold prayers. You started playing it safe. No, not because you doubted me, but to protect yourself from experiencing that kind of pain again. So let me be perfectly clear. I fully understand that pain. I do not trivialize it. I do not scold you for the process you have walked through, nor do I insist you act as if it never happened. I was there for every disappointment that remained unspoken, every time you exerted more energy than you thought you had, and still felt it wasn't enough for the very people you tried to serve. Every phase in which you watched others succeed while your own progress seemed stuck. I did not take offense at your questions. I was not angered by your doubt. I welcomed your raw honesty, even when it was expressed through tears. I recognized the magnitude of your internal battle, and more than that, I understood precisely what it was forging within you. Pain can warp your viewpoint. It can mislead you into thinking I am distant when I am actively at work. It can suggest you have been disqualified, while in truth, you are in the middle of a refining process. The adversary attempted to use your pain to lure you away from purpose, to convince you that suffering implied failure, that delay equaled disfavor. But pain is not meant to be punishment in my hands. It is preparation. When yielded to me, it becomes a powerful catalyst for transformation. I allowed the intensity of the fire not to devastate you, but to burn away what would only hinder you in the next stage. I personally identify with the sting of being misunderstood, the anguish of loving and being rejected, the heartbreak of serving and facing betrayal, the frustration of carrying something sacred while people belittle or try to control it. So when you come before me with your pain, you are not approaching a distant observer. You are seeking the one who endured similar trials and emerged victorious. You are seeking the one who transforms pain from a weapon of destruction into an agent of purification. What wounded you didn't destroy you, and it is becoming the very ground in which your spiritual authority will take root. You survived what I permitted, not because you were deficient or powerless, but because I was entirely certain that what I placed in you could withstand the storm. I knew the weight you would carry. I understood how much it would hurt, but I also knew precisely what it would create. It cultivated wisdom, discernment, empathy, and a profoundness that cannot be fabricated. And now I am redeeming each moment, not by discarding it, but by using it. What once broke you in a prior chapter will evolve into the area through which you extend healing to others. The shame that once wrapped itself around you is poised to reveal my glory. The silent struggle you once bore will transition into a public declaration of my faithfulness, not as a mere trophy of suffering, but as a living testament. In my redemptive power, I waste nothing. I will even take the things the enemy designed for your destruction. I will gather the injustices, the pieces that never made sense, the events that lacked closure, the people who exited abruptly, the opportunities that slipped through your hands, and I will weave them into a tapestry that serves an eternal purpose. The enemy presumed your pain would silence you, that it would harden your heart or push you to surrender. Yet he did not predict that you would endure, refined, more awake, more discerning, and more reliant on me than ever before. Now I urge you to relinquish your fear of pain, to stop pretending that it didn't leave its mark. Bring every last bit to me, your anger, sorrow, confusion, the memories that still grip your chest. I am not just your God when you have it all together. I am still your God when you are broken. Your intensity of emotion does not repulse me, nor does your drawn-out process offend me. I want your unfiltered truth. I want your deepest honesty. Cease editing your prayers for the sake of politeness. Speak the unvarnished cry of your soul. I can handle the raw, the unscripted chapters of your story. And in that sacred surrender, I will meet you. Because what I have planned next for you isn't solely about shaping your future. It also entails healing your past. You will not stride into the coming season weighed down by the chains of old hurts. You will move forward in genuine liberty, not because you erased the memories, but because you invited me to redefine them. I am healing the way you interpret what happened, not just the recollection itself. I am reshaping how you perceive the fire you passed through, so that the only lingering effect is the purity it brought. You are not weak because you felt pain. You are powerful because you overcame it. And now the very area that nearly hushed your voice is becoming the platform from which your voice gains authority. You are no longer identified by the harm done to you. You are identified by what I am accomplishing through you. Your pain was never the final word. It was my gateway. Having crossed that threshold, you will receive beauty for your ashes, strength in exchange for your grief, and purpose rising from your losses. This is where substantial healing starts. Now that we have acknowledged your pain and embarked on the journey of true healing, not superficial, but the deep-level healing you once believed unattainable, it is time to discuss what awaits you. Not as a vague prospect or casual reassurance, but as the very thing I have been orchestrating behind the curtain while you were being molded in the silence, while you waited, while you worshipped under the weight of unanswered questions, while you consistently showed up despite feeling invisible. I was always moving. Heaven was never idle. It was alive with activity, and the reverberations of that heavenly movement are about to break into your reality. You are not merely approaching a new chapter. You are stepping into a sacred unveiling, a moment of convergence, a tangible expression of words I spoke in times past, but chose to withhold until now. My promises differ from human promises. They do not lapse or fade as the years go by, nor do they hinge on cultural shifts, popular trends, or the whims of others. They are deeply rooted in my immutable character, and I have not changed. The very words I spoke to you long ago, when your faith was less certain, but still bright with youthful hope, remain alive, and I will show myself faithful by preserving you and fulfilling every declaration I made concerning your life. Some of these promises seem postponed. Others looked as though they vanished over time. Some you ceased praying for because you had grown weary of the heartbreak of unanswered hope. But I held them firmly, nurturing them, shielding them, allowing them to mature, waiting for the precise moment to bring them forth. That moment is now. You will begin to notice indicators, deliberate confirmations, not random signs. I will speak to you in repeated impressions, through unexpected conversations, through doors you never knocked on that open anyway, and through circumstances orchestrated so perfectly that you will recognize only I could have arranged them. You will start to see pieces sliding into place in remarkable ways, people recalling you at just the right time, opportunities emerging effortlessly. These markers are not accidents. They are my way of declaring, I have not forgotten, I am fulfilling now. I have already initiated shifts in the spirit realm. What used to be locked up has started to open. What felt stagnant is in motion again. And it may not always look the way you pictured breakthrough. It can arrive in the form of unexpected responsibility, small seeds of possibility, low-profile moments of favor that gradually expand. Do not disregard these beginnings. Do not wait for epic fireworks to trust that something holy is unfolding. The cues I provide direct you toward obedience, not spectacle. As you respond in faith, I unveil further details. Each step you take becomes an extension of the map. Some cues will arise through disruption. Progress often does not feel calm. You might see certain things removed from your life, which may momentarily hurt. You may see relationships shift, plans crumble. Situations you believed were permanent may suddenly alter course. Resist the urge to cling to them. I am safeguarding what I have prepared. I am making room. I am weeding out that which would dilute your assignment. You prayed for alignment. This is what alignment looks like. Release quickly. Trust me profoundly. Walk in step with me. Yes, I will also bring people into your life who are spiritually designated and deeply compatible with you, who carry precisely what you need and likewise need what you carry. They will not be starstruck by your gifts. Rather, they will respect your journey. They will see beyond the labels others tried to affix to you. Watch how gracefully these connections take form, how natural conversations flow, how easily your paths intersect. You will not need to force it. You need only recognize it. And when they arrive, steward these connections well. They are far more than mere acquaintances. They are kingdom relationships, ordained to support you in bearing the promise I am now unsealing. Provision will track closely behind the promise, not as a pat on the back, but as a resource. I will supply the needs required to build what I have shown you: money, manpower, support, guidance. Do not keep bracing for lack. Do not let your past seasons of delay set the tone. I do not guide you into new territory simply to desert you there. I am Jehovah Jireh, your provider. I am shifting things this very moment so they align with you as you step out in obedience. The instant you advance in faith, you will see all the ways I have been orchestrating on your behalf. Do not stall, waiting to see it all laid out perfectly. Move forward in trust, and I will meet you there. Let me clarify this. What is about to unfold will demand more from you, more surrender, more trust, more faith, not more striving. The promise will stretch you. It will draw you into arenas that once felt enormous or out of reach. It will cause you to speak in moments you once would have avoided. It will move you to stand firm where you once would have hidden. However, you will not be standing alone. I will be present in every second. I have already gone before you, and my favor will surround you like a protective shield. You need not earn it. You only need to walk in it. This is no shallow pursuit of a dream. This is the unveiling of divine purpose. The blessing I am releasing is not for boosting your image, but for enlarging my kingdom's influence. I am not elevating you so you can dazzle. I am positioning you to release what I have deposited in you. Peace will follow in your footsteps, dispelling chaos. Clarity will penetrate confusion. Unconditional love will enter spaces that have only known guarded acceptance. You will move in authority, not because you demanded it, but because you submitted to me in silence. And now from heaven, the sound of fulfillment is echoing. They assumed your story ended when you went quiet. They thought your lack of activity signaled defeat. In reality, I was scripting, I was building, I was prepping, and now I am fulfilling. Remain alert, for the signs are already here, each one signaling something mightier than you dared to hope. This is the dawn of manifestation. Having recognized the signs and glimpsed the early fruits of my promise, realize you have a role in this season. It is not to seize control of what will unfold, but to stay aligned with me. The breakthrough I am revealing is not of your making. It will emerge from consistent obedience, ever-deepening intimacy, and daily agreement with my direction. I have been fashioning you not just to receive a blessing, but to carry it with substance and stability. And that requires that you build a life of faith that is deliberate and enduring. Faith is no fleeting emotional spark or occasional dose of courage. It does not rest on positive moods or circumstantial achievements. Faith is the unwavering decision to live each day as though my words are already reality, even when outward evidence lags behind. That is the faith that truly honors me, not the faith waiting for proof, but the faith that speaks in darkness, walks in uncertainty, and obeys even without a full roadmap. Here is where to begin. Reorder your daily life around my presence. Reserve time first thing in the morning to sit with me before doing anything else. I do not demand countless hours. I desire your focused attention. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If they are filled with genuine focus, they can reset the atmosphere of your entire day. Commence your morning by reminding your soul who reigns. Call me into your plans, your errands, your list of tasks. This is not a mere religious exercise. It is realignment. The voice you heed at dawn will shape the tenor of the rest of your day. Let that voice be mine. Speak openly to me. Do not overcomplicate prayer or attempt to make it sound lofty. Be real. Pour out your gratitude, your confusion, your scattered thoughts if that is all you have. Simply come. I seek your heart, your nearness, your honesty. In response, I will provide you with clarity, peace, and wisdom. I will affirm your identity and show you what actually matters. When you feel that surge of overwhelm, learn to answer swiftly the nudges of my spirit. You have learned to hear me. Now move with me. When I lay it on your heart to text someone, obey. When I urge you to start a project, however small, do not delay until it appears perfect. Rarely does obedience coincide with total visibility. Typically, you only see just enough light for the next move. And as you step, I will meet you. That is how you keep pace with faith, how miracles find their birth. It is also time to guard your environment intentionally. I am inviting you into a deeper dimension of clarity, and that involves discerning what shapes your viewpoint. What influences are you letting in? To what are you giving your mind's focus? Whose voices are you allowing to seed your heart? You cannot live in steadfast faith if you also live in perpetual distraction or noise. Start filtering everything by asking, does this bring me nearer to what God is speaking, or does it sow doubt? If something does not edify your spirit, it depletes it. In this season, your focus is too essential to scatter. Return to my word with expectancy, not as a task to complete, but as a personal dialogue. Permit Scripture to speak straight into your circumstance. Slow down. Linger on verses that stir your spirit. Ask me what I am highlighting. I will meet you in those pages, lighting up truth, offering insight. As my word becomes alive within you, it directs your path. It dismantles lies, addresses your misgivings, and reminds you that you are not merely marching into a new season. You are walking with the unchanging one who loves you. I also say, stop questioning the gifts I have placed in you. The uncertainty you have carried ought to be exchanged for humility mixed with boldness. You do not need perfect worthiness to obey my leading, nor do you need to be impeccable to carry my power. My spirit is sufficient. My calling is sure. My presence is adequate. I will never ask more of you than what I have already enabled you to handle. So do not cloak your procrastination as wisdom when in reality it is fear. You know what I have told you. Now act on it. Start in small ways. Remain loyal to the path. Watch how I move on your behalf. This is the season to build, to speak up, to advance. Not out of anxiety, but in my peace. Not for external validation, but from a position of secure identity. The days of proving yourself have passed. You are now partnering with me, and such a partnership yields fruit not in the distant future, but in the now. I will give you practical strategies. I will drop sparks of inspiration into your heart. I will attract the people you need and supply the resources. But you must initiate the first step. Not all at once, just the step presently in front of you. As you do, the momentum will accumulate. Remain grounded in the community I have given you. I placed you among these people purposefully. Avoid isolation. Refuse to carry everything by yourself. Be open about your journey. Request prayer. Offer encouragement in return. Be present. You are constructing more than your personal future. You are shaping a legacy, and legacies emerge within shared relationships. There is power in spiritual family. Make space for it, and remember the principle of rest. Resting is not laziness, it is a spiritual weapon. It testifies that you trust me enough to pause. Allocate time to disconnect from the grind and reconnect with my presence. I did not craft you for unending productivity. I designed you to come back to me frequently. Go for a leisurely walk, breathe deeply, read without rushing, reflect, worship with no agenda. Let me revive your passion. Let me renew your mind. Let me soften the edges the world has worn. Rest is not a sign of weakness. It is strategic warfare, a declaration that I, the Lord, am sovereign, and you trust me enough to pause. Thus, here's your directive. Rearrange your routine. Live in daily surrender. Keep your spirit clear. Respond to my leading, and conduct yourself as though every word I have declared is unfolding right now, because it truly is. You are no longer getting ready for the promise. You are dwelling within it. Faith will be your vehicle to carry it to completion. With your heart now moving in the right direction and your ears more sensitive to my voice, I will speak once again to your identity, not just to confirm it, but to heal every wound left by rejection. Because certain corners of your heart still flinch, not because you do not crave what I have, but because you have spent so long believing your worth hinged on others' acceptance. Even now, as my promises spark to life, you still wrestle with leftover shadows of an outdated narrative. Let me eradicate them once and for all. Yes, you were steadfast in seasons of silence, but you did not always stand confidently in who you were. You experienced rejection, and even though you persevered in my presence, you began to think perhaps something in you was defective, that maybe you were too sensitive, too intense, too unique, which accounted for why people left, why you were overlooked, why you were misunderstood. Let me settle that lie once and for all. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are not defective. You are not overly much. You are not falling behind. You are not invalid. You are precisely who I created, called, and equipped for this very moment. And now I am not only calling you forward, I'm calling you into agreement with your genuine self. Those aspects of you that were ridiculed, I have anointed. What others deemed unnecessary, I created with exquisite care. What they refused to discern, I ensured remained intact. I have never expected your perfection, but I have always recognized your potential. You tried to prove your worth by diminishing yourself to become more palatable. You shielded yourself by over-explaining and overdoing. But I did not form you to fit in. I formed you to carry something distinct that others would not grasp until the appointed time. And that time has come. You are not here by chance, nor are you here merely because you endured something traumatic. You are here because I deliberately intended for you to live, to ascend, to carry my voice, to walk in my authority. A divine authority birthed through surrender, obedience, and fire. You harbor something holy. You do not merely bear my mark, you are known intimately by my heart. I did not rescue you so you would shrink back. I saved you to send you forth. Allow me to revive how you perceive yourself. Allow me to remove the film of shame clouding your vision. I am not simply asking you to speak, I am chosen. I am calling you to live like someone who is chosen, to stride with the assurance that you are cherished, not merely tolerated, to resist the urge to make yourself smaller, to stop presuming you must compete for my anointing. You are not second to anyone, nor a contingency plan. You are my idea, my design, and I produce nothing haphazardly. I want you to quit apologizing for who you are. I want you to stop adjusting your personality to make other people comfortable. I want you to quit trying to break into spaces never written into your story. I did not fashion you to conform. I fashioned you to transform the environment around you. You are not tasked with fulfilling everyone's projections of you. Your call is to meet me in solitude, letting me relentlessly reaffirm who you truly are until it resonates louder than every false label attached to you by your wounds. You are not the abandoned one. You are not the perpetual outcast. You are not the one always behind schedule. You are not the one too late. You are right on time, aligned with my schedule, not the timetable society tries to impose on you. And living in that truth eradicates striving and comparing. You stop chasing illusions and instead rest in the blessings that I have already entrusted to your care. I am reinstating your courage, not a courage that masks insecurity, but one that blossoms from love, because you know me, and you understand that I do not desert anything I have begun. You know that I never ask for your obedience without also providing my partnership. You know that when I call you, I accompany you. I am not merely your mighty Lord. I am your caring Father, and I take pride in you. Yes, pride. Not because you executed everything perfectly, but because you repeatedly return to me, even in confusion and pain. So let each step reflect your wholeness. Let your speech convey your healing. Let your choices show that you no longer function under scarcity, fear, or insecurity. Let them witness the transformation, not because you hold a megaphone, but because you exemplify it. Let your posture radiate more than any explanation ever could. You are not the same person they dismissed. You are the one I am bringing forward with divine purpose. Nothing about you is random. Your voice, your passion, your vision, your pace. I orchestrated every part of it. You are not on the path to eventually being used. I am using you right now. You are not destined to eventually create an impact. You are producing impact this very second. Each time you speak the truth where it is inconvenient, each time you choose to remain instead of fleeing, each time you lift your voice where silence once seemed more acceptable, that is true potency. That is authentic identity. That is the deposit I placed within you, and I am restoring it to completion. They were convinced your narrative had ended, but I have always known it was just the opening pages. Observe what unfolds when someone refuses to be driven by bitterness, but instead cooperates with my redemptive process. Notice how your entire reality shifts when you stop justifying yourself and start being who I formed you to be. This is what it means to have your identity truly renewed. You will never look at yourself through a distorted lens again. With your identity reclaimed and your inner being realigning with my truth, it is time to ground your transformation in spiritual discipline. A newly claimed identity without daily connection to me will sooner or later revert to performance-based living. My goal was never to give you a fleeting jolt of motivation, but to usher you into a sustained unveiling of who I am and what I have called you to be. That demands a day-to-day structure, not to stifle you, but to reinforce the growth. If you are to handle what I will now entrust to you, if you intend to handle this next season with spiritual gravity and clarity, you need more than zeal. You need a steady routine shaped by my presence. Let us concentrate on prayer now, not the desperate last resort type of prayer, but the consistent daily communion that becomes your spiritual oxygen. Let it mark your dawn and your dusk, not out of obligation, but out of intimate relationship. Approach me with unfiltered honesty, not recited phrases. Come in the early hours, before the world begins to flood your mind with noise. Approach me at night, when your day's concerns fill your thoughts and your spirit is ready for release. Talk to me about what thrills you, what baffles you, what weighs you down. Invite me into the places you typically manage alone. I am not evaluating your performance. I want fellowship. The more you share your heart, the more you will distinguish my voice. And as my voice becomes clearer, your choices gain precision. Your courage grows steadier. Your stride becomes more assured. Such is the impact of my presence, not merely inciting a feeling, but reforming you from within. Now let us address your posture and the mundane realities of life. How you handle yourself in quiet tasks, in traffic, in conversation, under strain, in boredom. These moments matter too. You have asked me for a higher level of living, but realize that true elevation revolves around an internal environment of peace and faith. Commence every morning with a spirit of thanksgiving. Before you scroll your phone or let outside voices crowd in, pause and thank me, even if your emotions haven't synced yet. Gratitude is not a fleeting emotion. It is a prophetic stance. By giving thanks in advance, you line up your heart with my consistent truth. Afterward, consciously choose peace. Pressures, distractions, and anxieties will inevitably show up, trying to disrupt your equilibrium. But I have endowed you with authority. You do not need to surrender to chaos. You can respond from a place of faith. Declare peace over your entire day. Saturate your mind with my word. Do not sit back, waiting for your emotions to align with your convictions. Let your spirit lead. You are no longer subjugated by fear or the compulsion to perform. You are free. Walk boldly in that freedom. Regarding Scripture, let it be your firm ground. Return again and again to Scripture, fully aware that it is a source of life. Stop reading just to tick off a daily reading plan. Slow down and listen for my voice within the text. Pause at verses that speak to you. Ruminate on them. Ask what I am revealing. I am alive in every segment of Scripture, prepared to shine light on your situation, to offer a sense of direction. My word does not simply add to your knowledge, it reshapes you from the inside out, refuting the lies, challenging your hesitations, and continually reminding you that you are not wandering alone. Furthermore, guard against any environment that undermines your faith. Be mindful of what you see, hear, and engage with, whether it be media, conversations, or influences that breed negativity and doubt. I intend for you to be a conduit of peace, but that requires cultivating it within you first. If your life brims with clamor, hype, or trivial pursuits, they will obscure my still small voice. Simplify wherever you can. Lower the volume of needless distractions. Ensure your daily schedule leaves open space for me. Being still is not being idle. It is a pathway to spiritual fortitude. If your schedule is so overpacked that it muffles my guidance, it is time to cut back. I never hurry. I am all about the sacred tempo. Finally, remember the Sabbath rest. Rest is not some outdated religious concept. It is my blueprint for your well-being. Designate time each week to cease performing and reacquaint yourself with my presence. You were never built for endless exertion. You were built for recurring returns to me. Go for a leisurely walk, inhale deeply, read for simple enjoyment, meditate, linger and worship with no set agenda. Let me replenish your delight, re-energize your thinking, and console what life has eroded. Rest is not lack of discipline. It is spiritual warfare, the outward testimony that God, you reign and I trust you wholeheartedly. Thus, here is your instruction. Reorganize your pace, live each day surrendered to me. Keep your spirit unclouded. Go as I guide, and believe that all I have spoken is being realized now because it is. You are not preparing for the promise any longer. You dwell within it. Faith is the channel through which you will carry it forward. With your steps aligned in faith and your heart newly emboldened to heed my prompting, I would again address your identity, not just to affirm it, but to fully mend the parts that still recall rejection. Some corners of your heart remain guarded, not because you do not yearn for my promise, but because you spent years convinced your worth hinged on others' approval. Even now, as my promises begin to manifest, even as sign after sign emerges, you hold on to fragments of that outdated narrative. Let me uproot them definitively. Yes, you stayed faithful when the world was silent, but that did not equate to confidence in who you were. You knew rejection deeply, and while you never wholly left me, you occasionally started believing that maybe there was indeed lacking in you. Perhaps you were too emotional, too intense, too unusual, and that was why you were left out, ignored, or misunderstood. I want to speak truth now, shutting down that lie fully. You have no intrinsic fault. You are not too much or lacking anything essential. You are neither trailing behind nor invalid. You are precisely who I designed, tasked, and prepared for this exact moment in time. Now I am not simply calling you out of hiding. I am calling you into alignment with your authentic self. What they deemed irrelevant, I handpicked. What they overlooked, I guarded. I never once demanded perfection, but I always perceived your potential. You have tried to prove your significance by downscaling yourself. You have attempted to protect yourself by over-clarifying and overdoing. But I did not craft you to vanish. I molded you to hold what others might not understand until the right time. That moment has arrived. Your presence here is not accidental, nor are you here just by enduring calamities. You are here because I willed it so. I intended for you to flourish, to speak my truth, to walk in an authority forged not by human ambition, but by surrender, obedience, and trial by fire. You carry within you something sacrosanct. My hand is not just upon you in a general sense. You are truly known by my heart. I did not rescue you to hide you away. I rescued you so I could send you. Allow me to reestablish your self-perception. Let me eradicate the haze of shame that has settled over your vision. I am not simply asking you to say, I am chosen. I am instructing you to live like you are chosen, to move like someone who is truly beloved, not merely tolerated, to walk without shrinking in the presence of others, to trust that my anointing on you requires no competition. You are not a backup plan or an afterthought. You are my idea, my design, and I never create casually. I want you to quit apologizing for taking up space. I want you to end the habit of modifying your personality to fit the comfort zone of others. I want you to stop pushing to enter places never assigned to you. I did not craft you to blend in. I shaped you to instigate change. You do not need to fulfill everyone's preconceived notions. You only need to meet me in the quiet place, allowing me to reiterate your true identity until it echoes louder than every false label attached to you by past wounds. You are not the one deserted, not the one who lags behind, not the one who always falls short, not the one who fails to arrive on time. You are in perfect sync with my schedule. You follow my cadence, not the deadlines others have set. Once you assimilate that, you cease striving, you stop matching yourself against others, and you stop trying to seize what was never intended for you. Instead, you walk in calm confidence, holding fast to what I have already placed in your hands. I will reinstate your boldness, not an overbearing mask for fear, but a boldness rooted in the knowledge that you are loved by a God who never abandons his work. You trust I do not leave you stranded after calling you. You believe I walk alongside you always. I am more than God in a lofty place. I am your caring Father, and I delight in you. Yes, delight, not because you excelled in every trial, but because you kept returning to me even in your darkest doubts. Therefore, let each action confirm you are healed. Let your words show you are whole. Let your choices reflect a new reality, no longer governed by shame or misgivings about your identity. Let people notice the difference, not because you flaunt it, but because you embody it. Let the way you hold yourself reveal a transformation far beyond any rationale you could provide. You are no longer the individual they bypassed. You are the one I am drawing front and center with specific purpose. Every aspect of you is deliberate. Your viewpoint, your heart, your pace, your dreams, because I composed each detail. You are not slowly working your way to a future role. You are in that role now. You are not on the verge of one day making an impact. You are already doing so. Each time you opt for truth over comfortable silence, each time you remain when flight is tempting, each time you speak up where once you shrank back, that is powerful living. That is living from your identity. That is precisely what I deposited in you. Today, I am restoring it in its fullness. They presumed you were out of the picture, but I perceived from the start that this was only the introduction. Observe the outcome when someone refuses to be driven by bitterness, but instead cooperates with my redemptive plan. Notice how your entire reality shifts when you cease trying to justify your process and begin simply living your purpose. That is identity's restoration. And from here on, you will never view yourself the same way again. Now that your sense of self is stabilized and the truth resonates in your spirit, it is time to embed your growth into spiritual practices. Without consistent communion with me, even a reclaimed identity can slip into proving itself through performance. I did not lift you up merely for a passing moment of emotional high. I have called you into an ongoing unveiling of my purpose for you, a process that demands regular, structured communion, not to confine you, but to create a firm foundation. If you are going to support what I am now entrusting to you, if you plan to wield the next season with wisdom and clarity, you need an approach stronger than mere feeling. You need a carefully tended rhythm in my presence. Let us concentrate on prayer now. Not the hurried kind we resort to in crisis, but the consistent kind that becomes the breath of your spirit. I want prayer to frame your waking and your resting, not as some act to impress, but as authentic relationship. Approach me with unfiltered honesty, not recited phrases. Come to me in the early hours, before the day's chaos rushes in. Seek me in the late hours, when you need to offload the day's burdens. Share your joys, your puzzles, your heartbreaks. Invite me into the corners you often try to manage alone. I do not want your flawless performance. I want your company. The more you dwell with me, the more you will hear me. And as my voice sharpens, your decisions align more closely. Your resolve strengthens, your pace steadies. This is the power of my presence. It does not merely stir your heart, it refines your core. Turning to your daily posture, every minor situation matters. You have asked for higher places, but a higher place requires deeper humility and unwavering peace. Let your day begin and end in gratitude. Thank me even before your feelings catch up. Gratitude is not a mood, it is a declaration of faith. Then resolve to protect your peace. Problems will surface, anxieties will call to you, distractions will arise, but you have authority. You can respond from a posture of faith rather than reactivity. Speak my promises over your schedule. Fill your mind with my truth. Lead your emotions rather than letting them lead you. You are not bound by fear or driven by the need to prove yourself. You have real freedom. Step into it boldly. My word stands as your anchor. Revisit it repeatedly with anticipation that I am speaking through it directly to you. Pause on the verses that echo in your spirit, asking me to illuminate what I am saying. My word not only teaches, it transforms, planting seeds of truth that challenge lies, strengthen convictions, and constantly remind you of my unchanging love. Preserve a peaceful environment. Notice what you allow to shape your inner world. Media, social inputs, conversations. If it sows doubt or fear, it pulls you away from my voice. Simplify, lower the noise level. Prioritize my presence. Stillness is strength, not idleness. If your schedule is so jammed you cannot discern my whispers, step back. I am found in the steady rhythm, not the frantic race. Finally, do not overlook rest. A Sabbath is not a relic, it is my design. Set aside time every week to unplug from the world's demands and reconnect with me. I never intended you to be on the go continuously. I designed you to cycle back to me regularly. Breathe. Worship with no goals in mind. Reflect on where I have been faithful. Allow me to renew you so that the world's pressures cannot deplete you. This is your life now, a life shaped by a deeper surrender, steadied by my word, nourished by prayer, and guarded by purposeful rest. You are not preserving a moment of breakthrough. You are nurturing a lifestyle aligned with my will, my truth, my identity for you. No longer unseen, but fully chosen. And now heed me closely, for I will not only reaffirm your past, I also declare what lies ahead. This next step is not mere encouragement or a vague promise. It is my prophetic proclamation over your journey now. The internal shifts you have felt, those surges of clarity, that firming resolve, are about to materialize in the spaces around you. You may only glimpse it now, but the transformation has started and cannot be reversed. My hand will release what I have stored up, validating my private whispers with undeniable outward proof. They called it stillness, but I was working. They assumed you were finished, but I was writing your testimony. Now it unfolds. Doors will open where none existed. Relationships will align without force. Conversations will initiate divine momentum. Resources will arrive precisely on time. Others may call it sudden. You will know it is my meticulous orchestration. I bring you to a threshold of fulfillment, not partial glimpses, but the full arc of my promises. You will look back and see why the path meandered, why certain detours were necessary, how I used delay to forge the capacity you now possess. You were not unready because you were unqualified. You simply had to develop the spiritual stamina for what is coming. Now you do. You have stewarded silence with faith. Now I am entrusting you with the stage. Expect new boldness, new alignments, new invitations, fresh anointing. Expect what I said to manifest in living color. As you go forward, do not be surprised by opposition. Every ascent garners attention, but you have matured beyond fear. I have fortified you with discernment, wrapped you in favor, and equipped you with peace. This is the season of visible proof. What you have carried privately, prayed through in tears, nurtured in hiddenness, will no longer stay behind closed doors. Simply be who you are, who I made you to be. Let your obedience speak volumes. Your very presence will testify to what I have done. They thought your story ended in that quiet place, but I was only getting started. You've heard my voice today. You felt the confirmation echo in your spirit, and this is only the beginning. Return here, not for entertainment, but for encounter. This space is not just a channel, it is a meeting place, a holy reminder of who you are and whose you are. Each word you receive here is not crafted for likes, but commissioned to shift atmospheres. So don't just scroll past. Subscribe so you never miss my whisper. Share this word so others may awaken too. And come back often because I'm speaking again. I'm not finished, I'm building, I'm healing, I'm releasing. And the next word I give may be the one that sets your destiny in motion. Be ready, stay hungry, stay aligned. Your next visit could be your divine confirmation. Amen.